To read for you from a book called Sahara Special. The first chapter is called Me and Darrel Sikes. Why did I write them? Love letters to nobody who loved me back. They made me feel foolish and better at the same time. I didn't know where to mail them, so I just saved the letters in my desk. Dear Daddy, how are you? I miss you. I love you. I still love you. I always love you. Sometimes I wrote, when are you coming home? Sometimes I wrote, so you're never coming home, or are you coming home? Sometimes I wrote, you can come home now. Sometimes I wrote, why didn't you take me with you? I didn't keep a very tidy desk. One day the letters poured out over my lap, my feet, my teacher's feet. I got some of the letters back, but most of them went to the counselor, Mr. Stinger. The worst part of being in his office was watching my mom read those letters. Her face looked grey, like my letters were bad news, death news. She was thinking I loved her less because I missed my daddy more. I felt like I was floating on the ceiling, like smoke from something burning. When I came down from the ceiling, I pouted. I wanted my letters back, all of them. I was so mad. Isn't there a law against reading other people's mail? Mr. Stinger took out a stack of papers, a file full of the history of me. No, not the history. A history. A history that didn't include me when my mom go to the bookstore. I can pick any book I want, even a book in hardcover. That's the way it's always been. We never have much money, but Mom doesn't blink when the numbers ring up. She hands over the big bills like she was buying milk or eggs, something we just can't do without. I love choosing books by the pile at the library too, and listening to my mom read them to me when she's not too tired from working. She's been my best teacher, but that's not in the history. Mom looked at the file and her face went grey again, and I felt gravity give out. Look at that, a pile of messy work, of unfinished work, a sloppy diary of me since Daddy left. Why didn't I write more carefully in 3rd grade? Why didn't I finish that assignment in 4th grade? I watched as Mr. Stinger fed my letters back into the long file cabinet. The cabinet closed with a metal sound, a safe full of evidence against me, waiting there for me when they need to pull it out and call me dumb. When we got out of the office, my mom talked in a low voice. What do you want me to do, Sahara? Say I'm sorry that I couldn't keep him. Fine, I'm sorry. I tried my best. Can't a woman get a divorce without her kid going special ed on her? I wanted to say, don't be sorry, Mom. I couldn't keep Daddy either, but I was wise now. I kept my mouth shut. You gonna let Daddy walk out with your brain too? She grumbled. Well, then there's not going to be a vital organ left between us, is there? You don't do your work, Sahara. They'll see they've made a mistake. You'll do it, won't you? I stared in her eyes, but I didn't answer her. I knew I was being fresh and bad, but I couldn't lie and say yes. I stared in the eye, but I didn't answer her. I knew I was being fresh and bad, but I couldn't lie and say yes. Do it for what? Do it for who? They took what I gave them. They took what I didn't give them. They used it all the same way to feed the file. I was through with giving them evidence. They wouldn't get anything more out of me. Mom looked at me, furious. I thought she would slap me for the first time in my life. She didn't. She stomped away. I stood there, wishing she had slapped me. You're supposed to put an exclamation point at the end of a strong feeling. A slap would have felt like that. But instead, her heels clicked out of her punctuation. ... I couldn't see where my sentence would end. That file full of letters meant I met with a special needs teacher in the hallway to get something called individualized attention. And let me tell you, Working in the hallway with a teacher is like being the street person of a school. People pass you by and they act like they don't see you. But 3 steps away, they've got a whole story in their heads about why you're out there instead of in a nice, cozy classroom where you belong. Stupid, unlucky, unloved. If I could have put out a cup, I would have made some change. People from my class would hiss, "Hi, Sahara Special," as they passed to go to the washroom, and don't think they meant special like a princess or a movie star or something sparkly like that. I pretended like I didn't hear, but oh yes, I heard. And you don't just hear meanness with your ears. My cheeks heard it and turned red. My eyes heard it and stared at the wall, at my lap, at my shoes. My fingernails heard it and hid away in my teeth. I heard it all through my clothes and skin and blood and all the way to my bones where it rattled in the hollow of me. The special needs teacher told me her name when I met her, but I forgot it right away. Seeing her day after day, I was too embarrassed to ask what it was. In my mind, I just called her Peaches. In the real world, I didn't call her anything at all. In the hallway, Peaches played board games with me and talked in a whispery, cooing voice like I was a doll and we were having a pretend tea party. I ignored her as best as I could to keep from throwing up on her. She would sometimes ask me if I had done my homework and I would pretend I didn't hear. She spoke about using time well, getting things done. Don't you agree that would make life a lot easier? I nod. Sure, I'll agree to that. In fact, I thought, if I were really the school street person, I could drink to that. Toast to it using the white milk in a carton they give at lunch, only keeping it in a brown paper bag. Here's to the people who uses time well and get things done. I couldn't help but laugh. What's so funny? I just shrugged. She probably wouldn't think it was funny. I'd never seen her laugh. She'd write something down, probably laugh for no reason. Finds organization funny. And that's all for today.